All right, so this particular area is going to look like it's a real success to you guys. This has been an absolute failure. Unfortunately, I'm usually quite a pro at thousands of heads of broccoli, cabbage, and all this. But this year, boy, did the just enemies against nature make sure to make everything more difficult than ever. I am 100% organic, so please, folks, I appreciate all your ideas. Been doing this a long time. I've already done everything you talk about. So if I have to use something, we are not going to be spraying these products with any bought substance. They get water. If it doesn't contain what problem is going on with the bugs, I don't hose them in emulsions of every extract you guys are talking about, and I appreciate it again, but we're on a farming scale of a different kind here. You know, we're farming like God had intended, which uses no man-made products. It uses God's products. And I do my own contraptions, but guys, it's a very large area to come in and hose down daily with neem oil and stuff. So I'm not saying that to say I don't want your tips. I'm just saying I'm trying to show you guys this. Get it, guy, get it. I'm trying to show you that sometimes there is a point that we actually call it a failure. Now, what do we do when things are a failure? Well, I'll tell you what we do. So, I grow microgreens all the time, don't I? Where do you think the seeds come from? They come from failure crops. So, what's happening right here with this failure? Now, this bee says, this isn't a failure. This is the best time of my life. Well, so if you can look deeply, you'll see the little aphids moving around in there. Do you see little bugs?
I saw movement.
Yeah, it's loaded in aphids. So this has been an exceptional year that I chose not to harvest any of this. The heads were tiny. They immediately went to flower. So what do? Well, we make lemons into lemonade, guys. Every one of these that's flowering is going to give us so many seeds. So seed collecting is very important. Everybody's asking, oh, do you sell seeds? I don't. I do really collect just for myself, but I'm going to get you started on collecting yourself. So when things go shitty, well, we don't go in and start crying that I want to give up. Okay, that's what the enemy loves, that stuff. What you do is you get yourself good with God and you say, I missed some knowledge. What did I miss, Jesus? Something's not right because this isn't how you would grow it. What am I missing? Ding! I gave you that so you could collect seeds this year. Never thought of that. Now, guys, are you growing hybrids? We just talked about in the last video. They're changing things. You're growing hybrids. You don't get seed. You don't collect seed from a hybrid. Okay, this is Weltham broccoli. It's an old heirloom, so we're going to seed save on it. But if you're growing an Imperial or an F1 from Baker Creek, don't waste your time. Okay, they're sterile. They've hybrided that. What you're going to get, you're not going to want. So don't bother. So this is the beauty of what's going on here. And you can see this whole row is blooming. Next will be the cabbage will start blooming because as you can see the amount of aphids down here. Now these were hosed off just by flash flooding rains, guys, and they can't even get rid of them. I had hosed day in, day out. Now this, it's going to try and form a head. It'll be a faulty head. Won't be anything we're selling. So now why are they still here? Why am I bothering? Well, believe it or not, as they get a little bit bigger, what do you think those animals like to eat? They are not offended by aphids, I can assure you. When I give this to the turkeys and chickens, I think they think they're blessed that the aphids came around. It's quite amazing. So we don't worry about it. But if we walk up, there's always going to be some good heads in here. You can see there's some really great heads starting to form despite damage from the aphids. And you know, it's funny, I've only had this happen one other time in my life. It'd be so bad like this. Got some good heads over here, some flat and Dutch. But if we go up, oh, here's a good head here. Not full yet, so if you're unsure about your cabbage head, if it's ripe and ready, push on it. It better be hard as a rock. If it's not ready. Here we've got some more. Oh, these are getting hard. They're kind of ready. I'm gonna wait probably another day. Okay, here's a prime example of ready. Do you see when it's peeling back here? Oh, and this is even soft. So it shouldn't even start peeling back until it's ready. But again, weird year, and it's not, see how it's soft? It's not ready. So every one of these needs to be rock hard. Let's see this guy here. A little more firm. Now, if you look at these were the Sapporo cabbages. Jeez. And this is a hybrid. These things get up to 20 pounds. I had a bunch growing But again, what a shame, a rough year has really kind of destroyed. So let's take a peek down that side, guys, and see what we've got going. You know, this area, I'm just starting to replant. You know, I want you guys to understand, again, failure is the name of the game. Okay, so we can't be bothered by the fact that it didn't work out. It never worked out for Jesus until he died. So we have to understand, if that's the life we're living and we're believers, then it's certainly understandable that things aren't going to go right. This is Romanesco. Probably won't get much. You can see the aphids. This guy's covered in aphids. Let's see if there's any heads worthy. So hard to say, but you can see, I think it's all going to be a failure, because this Romanesco here, the heat, you see what it's doing? The head is tiny and opening. So again, this is animal feed. Never look at your crops like, well, screw it, this is a waste. No, it's not. And always do this. See, anytime I had open spots, I throw in some spinach or something, because when all this is removed and feels like a failure, you're like, oh, well, look at that. There's still something there. So let's scurry our way up here. Oh, we got a little better Romanesco head there. Not too fancy. These are the worst I've seen, guys. So I'm sure you all are going to have some judgment call on me and how to help me out farming. But the reality is, I'm doing the trickiest job in existence here. So here are the big cabbages. So if they actually form proper heads, this was a test. Now, the shame is, it's been such a rough year, but I think they're going to form heads pretty decently. Just aphid upon aphid, which is mind-blowing. A lot of these, I just have fun. So I do hybrids also. I try not to do too many of them, because you're going to get really excited about how much easier they are to grow, but they're not a reality, really. I mean, you don't want to just stick to hybrids. You want to get a hang of heirlooms. Oh, we put a bunch of kiwis in here I forgot about, so this will be fun. These guys right here. So I did, if anybody's familiar with hardy kiwis, they're not fuzzy. So the hardy kiwi is basically no fuzz. I got red hardy kiwis. I'm really excited, guys. They were kind of hard to find. If you want to grow a kiwi, you always have to have a male, okay? They do not pollinate themselves. They need a sexy little man to help them make that fruit. So don't foul it up. I've got, I think, 3, so you can see this orange tape. We've got one up there that you just saw, and this one's already blooming. Look at this. Look at that. So it's ideal. I'm gonna guess this is the male, since the other 2 are not blooming. I almost can guess, I don't see a tag, but for it to come in first, this chances are is the boy, and those are the girls. It's super fun. Play around with plants, guys. Cuttings, all different stuff you can grow. I mean, why not? So this was an epic failure of cauliflower right here. Every bug from here to Timbuktu found it, covered and all. Tore it up and ate it, and then the aphids had their fair share too. So what have we done? Well, spinach. This is red tabby spinach here. This is a hybrid, red tabby they call it. So it is not, you know, my normal spinach. I love normally Bloomsdale, but the neighbor gave me a bunch of seeds. Cilantro, folks, what did I tell you? Detoxes you. What pulls that lead and heavy metal and mercury out of you? That right there, cilantro. And what is this? Parsley. Okay, what do I keep preaching to you folks? This is easy growings here, okay? Start them inside. Now the key to a lot of these seeds, when you do cilantro and all this, folks, you don't do one seed, okay? You do one seed if you want to fail. If you look at any of mine, look at how many are in here. How many plants is that? My God, that's a ton of plants, isn't it? That could be like 15. Well, when I overseed, look, I'm gonna cut these small anyway. I don't want it to form a giant bush. We're heavily seeding because we're just trying to reap as much as we can, as fast as we can. So get planting. That's an asset. We've got some lettuces over here. Of course, chard. Let's just talk about chard for a moment. So I usually always grow, you can see a row of chard here. This is magenta, I believe, and some pink. Look, this is animal fodder, guys. There is actually, it's called Ford hook chard, giant chard. was used as a fodder. I've used it for years. They get this tall. They make more chard than you can think of. Now, that being said, it is not a sole source. There's high oxalates in chard, okay? Do not give it to your baby animals other than a leaf at a time. The oxalates can be a little too much. You could give them bloat, okay? As far as an older animal, this is a great source. You can easily come in, cut some leaves off. You can just cut the plant down to the ground, whichever you want to do, and it's good food. Just like comfrey, it sits here all the time. Sorrel and a lot of those, they last a long time, and you're never going to eat all this because we get sick of that much of it. So grow it. We've got our lettuces here. When we come up here, more lettuces, same thing, guys. I do it 2 different ways when we're seeding. And I'm gonna do a video on seeding, hopefully in the next day or 2. When I seed, depending, if I'm looking to have show-off heads of lettuce for you guys, romaine, I make sure I have 1 seed to grow 1 head. When I'm doing loose leaf, and this is fun, guys, you're gonna wanna do this, again, like the parsley and cilantro, do a bunch of seeds, okay? How many heads of lettuce are probably in here? This has got to have 3 or 4. I mean, there is definitely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I am going for loose leaf. I'm going to come in and cut them right off. I'm not waiting for heads. Heads can take 70 days plus. In 35 days, I've got lettuce. So this is a very simple way to do it, guys. Now, if you want heads, it's super easy. This clump that I had seeded, you just get the roots really wet and they just come apart from each other. And now you can plant these 5 plants separately too. All plants will let you do that. You just have to be very gentle with their roots and make sure it's wet, because if it's dry, you'll hurt them. They don't like being pulled apart with dry roots. Now here's a fun one, sorrel. Any of you guys familiar with sorrel? And I want to say it's a part of the dock. I want to say it's like curly dock. So this is called red-veined sorrel. This right here is already a 1.5 months old. Okay, so just so you know, very slow growing. Again, great source for the animals and for us, high in oxalates, actually in the medicinal books for medicinal plants, okay? So probably this can be used a lot more as a medicinal thing than your lettuce daily, because again, we wanna be careful. So plants have toxins in them that we talk about, oxalates and all this stuff. They are good for us in very small amounts. Okay, if we're abusing, we're gonna get inflammation. We're not gonna feel good like you think. So again, that being said, it's an all-purpose. We've got animals, we've got us, teas, chickens, turkey, you name it. And the cool thing about sorrel, so once this grows, it won't die like other plants. This grows year-round. There's red-veined, and then there's giant green sorrel. Now the giant green sorrel smells like a lemon. It's phenomenal. The red vein does not. It's not true sorrel, again, because it's been probably hybrid or manipulated. So I'm trying to show you guys, well, what am I planting here? What is coming in my spring garden? I hit the herbs up first, okay? Flowers and herbs are going in first. Calendula, all this stuff. Right now, seeding is going to happen. Ray is going to put together a video because I want to show you guys again, seeding again. How do I do it? I don't own a greenhouse and I don't own anything fancy. I just live in a house and that does it all. What is another big one here? Guys, celery, okay? I got celery all over the garden. Now, celery is the slowest growing thing on the planet next to the sorrel and everything. Again, now when you seed this, look at all the ants right there. That's why we had so many aphids too. And folks, don't give me ant ideas unless you want to eradicate my entire farm from ants, because we're organic, so the ants are everywhere. Being that we're so dry climate and we haven't got much rain, the ants have gone nowhere this year. So, celery, what's cool about it? Now, that is so cool. I can see that the worms, so what you look at down here is the worms were pushing up their soil right into the plant, all that cute little dust poop. I love worms. So this is one plant, I believe. Let's see here. That might be more than one. So again, here we go, 2 here. So same thing. These seeds are like dust, and probably usually a few per. So celery seed looks like, here it is. I'll show you. That's about what your celery seeds look like. They are tinier than that. They are so tiny. So again, another tip on these small seeds is we need to put a bunch down. I do a pinch of these things. There's probably 30, okay? They're not all gonna grow. If they grow, you can separate. It's not a hard thing to do to separate them. Otherwise, if you're just gonna be chopping, you don't mind small stems, just leave them all together. Don't even separate them. There's no reason to. But between the celery, the parsley, and cilantro, they're powerhouses, guys, okay? Powerhouses of health. Now, I'm not talking medical medium, because all you guys out there that used to do the medical medium book, and man, that guy had downloads from God about all we should be eating is celery. Look, I didn't get the download from God about celery, okay? I got the download from God about all of it. He never said just celery. I agree, celery is not healthy by itself. Celery with others is exceptional, and we do need it. That concludes this bed that doesn't look like there's much in it, but it's actually completely planted in the sorrel. It'll take months, guys, before we see this really get big. It's a slow grower, and once it comes in, it's here to stay. That's what I love about it. Why did I put it here? Because now the lettuce is a sought after item, but the celery and these guys here, the sorrel, cilantro and all that, critters don't want much of it. They really don't. They don't want to get healthy. They're looking for the garbagey stuff. They want the sweet, tasty treats like your lettuce and stuff. So again, mix it up. I'm trying to show everybody I definitely have no pattern to my madness. By the way, this is all oat hay.
Oh, I was wondering what that was.
Anybody wanting a little bit of oat seed for their critters? Well, it's simple to grow. All I do is buy the oat hay for my animals, and it seems to be all over the garden, and they just love it. And if this falls, it makes more oat hay. That's what all this stuff was. We brought so much composted oat poop in here. Well, pretty much we got an oat hay bed. So I hope you're all going to get started. Again, I really want to push that cilantro and parsley more than anything on you folks. If you have to get a plant to get started, however you get it, what's very cool about them is these, if you keep them happy, even after they flower, if it's happy, it'll go through its flowering stage and it'll come right back to a beautiful parsley plant again. So keep them happy and you don't have to remove them. Let's move on to the other parts of the garden.